LSU Odyssey is in the house live. Sunday live. How's everybody doing? We've had an awesome day. We've had a great weekend. How about you? You have LSU football returning for another week of practice here. Kind of the first ever faux spring game. Kind of the spring showcase, I think we should probably start calling it. The spring showcase, and a half-hour autograph session, which is just hilarious. There will be about 10 autographs given out. Obviously, they're going to expand that time. Duh. Kelly, the rest of them, maybe not Kelly, but maybe the players will spend as much time as possible giving out autographs. But it should be a very interesting kind of change of dynamic for the spring game for the first time in ever. And it's going to be the first time. The spring showcase, just a practice, just an open practice. Very strange for LSU. Very strange. I mean, you've seen Nebraska do this, and you heard, what's his name, Matt Rule, go on and on about how I don't want other people seeing our players. I don't want other coaches being able to, scout our guys for that opening of the transfer portal. And, that's who we're going to go get. That's the guy we got to go get. You know why? Because we just saw him do this during a, spring game for LSU or whoever it may be. And it's like, that's what's kind of funny is it's like, hey, bro, you did that with Trey Palmer and LSU, that's how you took Trey Palmer, Matt Rule. But, that's kind of the game, People are going to say, I'm not doing it, but everybody else is doing this horrible thing while they're doing it. So that's always hilarious to me. But you've got LSU kind of following in the footsteps of Nebraska. I'm trying to think of who else has canceled the spring game. Has it been like almost everybody? Let's see. Programs. I'm gonna ask the LSU Odyssey AI assistant. College football programs. Who have canceled spring game. Nebraska, Texas, USC, Ohio State, and Oklahoma have canceled their annual spring games. This is in February 20th, 2025 from ESPN. Obviously, that should include LSU now. Ole Miss is another team that has joined. There's basically every major college program has done this. LSU is no different. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I actually think it's actually a smart move. I'm shocked it hasn't happened earlier because no one really thought about injuries in spring games or unnecessary reps or players being scouted by other teams for the upcoming transportal using the spring game. And it's like they could also use, media tape to kind of scout some of these guys too. But I understand why there is kind of a canceling of the spring game as a actual game in and of itself. I think you'll see some kind of form of scrimmage, a loose kind of scrimmage. And you'll probably get to see the offense a few times, defense a few times, then a bunch of special teams. And they'll give you just a bit, just a taste, just a vibe. But I don't think it's going to be that intense for viewers as far as like an actual competition or anything. Like I think it's going to be very kind of just check everybody out visually, kind of a get together type of community event more than like, hey, let's play a football game. Like that's spring game's never really been like that, but there have been elevated moments of competition. Look at the 2019 spring game. A few moments go different. Some guys leave that field with some injuries that really change our season and what would have been possible last season. So, going into this thing, maybe it's a better, looking at the LSU injuries, that type of stuff. Maybe it's a better thing that they are, and that this has become kind of the wave of the future where um, programs, a lot of top programs are just saying, we're not going to do this. We're not going to put our kids at risk in these games. And also, I don't want other programs scouting our guys, scouting our kids. So, it is what it is, and it's going to be that way for the rest of time. I can't see the spring game coming back now. That's the thing, is once these things happen, it's kind of like, oh shit, like that's it. Like that's it. So, I mean, for a lot of old school people who hate the transfer portal to the death, hate NIL to death, and think it has like ruined the sport, just as on the surface, not saying that like the deregulation of it, the wild west of it, the transfer anytime, no matter what type of vibe of it is what's ruining the sport. Just the fact that there's players being paid and we know about it, and it's open. Just the fact that there's kids being able to leave whenever they want, that type of thing. That is bothering so many college football fans. I understand that. But I think they're mixing the two things. I think you're seeing kind of like how college football is kind of ruining itself with the deregulation, with the Wild West nature of it all. And it just shows that extreme sides of anything this never really work. And this is the extreme kind of laissez-faire NIL part of it. And the scheduling of it all, the fact that there is so many different transfer portal windows opening and shutting at crazy inopportune times. Not to mention right after the spring game, right after that time where the spring game would have been, right after spring practices, throughout the entire summer, right up until the season, the window is like open. So it's just like, wow. And then right where it's conference championship weekend, and you're having to prep for maybe playing conference title game, then you have signing day as well, and then you've got the portal also opening. Like, so the more that a head coach like Brian Kelly can say, hey, a spring game is just another like extra thing on our plate that we don't need, when, hey, if we're going to win it all, maybe we have to play 17 games. I understand it. I get it. You want to minimize the toil. You want to minimize the intensity on your players, the possibility for injuries, and also it's just an unnecessary, risky event when you've got extra games that weren't there. Back in the 70s and 80s, when guys didn't play for NIL and stuff like that, they didn't play for that bag. They played purely for the love of the game, no matter what. There was only like 10, 12 games in a season at most. So, like, the number of teams have expanded, the number of games has expanded. So, the number of games to win a championship back then, championships were decided by a poll. So, things have improved greatly as far as like college football fandom and wanting a real champion, a real winner in some of these seasons, that type of things. Where back in the 20th century, it seemed like every winner was up to debate. So, it is definitely a changing of the guard when you've got the spring game is it's going to be extinct from now on, and that's kind of where we're going. Cole Adams says, Lon, I'm old school. I think the bigger get to, though, is can't hurt your high dollar players by live practices, spring games, or big cat drills. Hence, we're poor tackler, less physical at the line of attack. Just my honest opinion. I mean, like, I get what you're saying, but I would rather have my team live tackling in practices, which they have been doing actually this spring, a lot more hitting. Um, and I would want them doing that in spring and fall camp, but not necessarily a spring game, and not necessarily with all the eyes of ESPN in the world upon it. And I think that's really the main issue, Cole, is not that um, these extra games. Oh my God, the toil of our players. Like that's going to become a reality as we understand the 17 game regular and postseason full scope of it. If you go all the way, maybe you're not in the top seed, you don't get that first round bye, and you have to win all these games to get there. Like Ohio State just did. I think that will become a fact because it's going to become a marathon to survive. And yeah, I get it. You could say that maybe the players aren't as tough as they were back in the day. They can't take the injuries as much as they can back in the day. But I would also argue maybe they can heal faster than they could back in the day from these injuries. They can come back. They can have second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances at a career that they wouldn't have been able to have because of the technological and medical um, advances of the day and age, of course. So I mean, I love the old school ideology, but you take it and you put it in kind of the modern some of the modern ways of doing things. I think you get the best of both worlds that way. But we love you, King Cole. We love that you always are supporting and subscribing the show and watching us, and also letting your opinion be heard. I don't. There's so many people who watch this show, and maybe 45%, 50% share their opinion. Call us on our shit if we're wrong. Uh, Tell us you agree with us. Tell us we're full of shit. Whatever you think, we want to hear it. This is what LSU football and being an LSU fan is about, in my opinion. The main thing I wanted to get into with this show for Sunday Night Live, as we're so many different places are kind of wondering, hey, this guy and this guy switch positions, or this guy and this guy and this guy are battling for these positions. Who's going to win the position battles? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to achieve this or reach that? I think this guy's going to start. This guy's going to start for sure. But people are kind of making some declarations way too early about who's going to be starting in this 2025 squad. Who are the best players of this 2025 squad? Who are the key guys? You always know with LSU football, these things take a while to shake out. And maybe even during the season, it starts this one way, and then the heroes kind of change because of injuries, because of lack of performance. Some guys just fade as the season goes on. Whatever the case, LSU has always had such a deep reservoir of talent that you've seen guys get multiple bites of the apple and chances to show what they can do. A guy like Javian Toviano, he's getting that chance again this season. Caleb Jackson having another chance to strut his stuff. Chris Hilton Jr., of course. Garrett Nussmeier, who, did he literally throw for the most yards of any first year starting quarterback at LSU? Garrett Nussmeier last year? Because it was ridiculous how many yards he put up. Let's look that up. Yep. He became, according to LSU, this is according to LSU Sports, so I think they would know. Garrett Nussmeier, in his first season at LSU, became the most prolific first-year starting quarterback in LSU history, surpassing previous records in passing yards, completions, attempts, touchdowns, and total offense. He didn't just do it with passing yards. He didn't just do it with attempts. He did it in every conceivable passing statistic. There are some guys are going to be coming into this 2025 season ready to kick some ass, ready to prove some doubters wrong, maybe ready to continue where they left off. Guys like, Garrett Nussmeier, who we just gave you evidence of his absolute exactitude over the last few shows, and it's just, I think he's going to continue to raise that level into 2025. But he's not alone. There's so many great players, so many diamonds in the rough, so many guys who are starting to find their feet in this LSU squad on both sides of the ball, that the prospects of this team are very exciting and enticing if this squad are utilized to their utmost. Because that's the thing. We've seen this so many seasons at LSU, where you go into it, where we gave you an example last show. Last show we talked about how, look at that 2021 receiving room and 2021/2022 receiving room. The names are almost like out of control. Malik Neighbors, Jack Besh, Brian Thomas Jr., Kayshon Boutte, Deion Smith, Chris Hilton Jr. You had Mason Taylor as a tight end in 2022, not in 2021. But Trey Palmer, another 1,000-yard receiver, was part of that room as well in 2021. It is ridiculous how many great names there were in that room, but what did we see? What did we see? Very, very little. It was really the freshmen who had to really put up some stats and stuff and pad the stats after Kayshon Boutte got injured with a crazy 9 touchdowns in his first 6 games. But really, that receiving room could have been so much more. We didn't have the quarterback that year, or the offensive line that year, or the running game that year to really free them up and unleash them to their ultimate powers. Because you need all the ingredients to really see a passing game at its utmost. You can't just be like a passing only team and have the greatest passing attack in history. You really have to be able to run the football to unleash that passing game to its greatest. Such is the game of football. And so I think this season, you go into this season, you look at who LSU has as weapons, and you look at maybe the offensive line might improve running the football this year. And maybe if they're not as good as Will Campbell and Emory Jones blocking, maybe that's okay, because the personnel, passing-wise, and Garrett Nussmeier as a quarterback give you the ability that, hey, we have to get the ball out of Garrett's hand quicker. And so you have a quick firing offense where you're just running these 2-foot slants where the release, a move, and the ball is there already. Because literally some of these guys, if you look at the 2019 offense, so much of that offense was just plays like that. Little ins, little slants, just boom. So many plays from the offense that did not work in 2024 were a lot of these 5-yard out patterns to nowhere, where even if the guy makes this crazy catch, even if Nuss avoids a pick six with his unbelievable NFL arm and touch, we get like 3 or 4 yards at the most. Those plays were absolutely diabolical and killed our offense. And then you see where Joe Sloan's dialing up that slant to Aaron Anderson, where he catches it and takes it to the limit for the touchdown against Texas A&M. Those are the type of plays that this offense should be running. Catch and run type of plays over the middle. Give them the football. This play, you had to have this guy miss as well. But this play is showing exactly what I'm saying. There was so much of this crap to the outside. And this, I'm talking about even quicker routes than this too. Like this is way too longer developing. And it relies on a perfect throw, perfect catch, and then this quick move right after splits these two guys. Boom, almost knock into each other, pretty much do. And Anderson is gone. And guess what? Anderson only had, 5 touchdowns this last year? 4th in the SEC in yards. Anderson really could have done that on most of the plays if we had run that type of offense, thrown those type of passes. And now you've got an Aaron Anderson, and now you've got a Barian Brown, and now you got Nick Anderson. You got Chris Hilton Jr. fully healthy and absolutely roasting dudes in spring. There, once again, you just saw it again. Another inside pass to Aaron Anderson. Another quick fire inside pass to Aaron Anderson right here. Boom, boom. This offense could absolutely murder teams across the middle. I shouldn't use that word. They could absolutely cook teams over the middle with an offense that's quick firing over the middle. And so I think that's why you have to utilize the personnel that have speed, that have that type of utility. Because here's the thing. LSU's receivers don't have much height. I think there's one guy that's 6'3". I think it's like Kylan Billio or something like that. So use your tight ends to be those height type of targets. Use those guys as kind of auxiliary receivers. Trades Green and Donovan Green. Bauer Sharp is going to be mostly an inline blocking tight end, though he can, as you saw, making that one-handed catch in practice, he definitely has the mitts to do the job. Great player, great locker room voice, Bauer Sharp as well, the new transfer from Oklahoma. Led Oklahoma in receiving, by the way, last year as well, Bauer Sharp. So he's no just blocking tight end. This kid can do it all. But you've got a loaded tight end room. Use those guys more as your height weapons. But your receiving core, feed them on these inside quick burner routes or deep shots down the field and jet sweeps, using guys into the backfield like we've seen with Xavier Thomas throughout spring. They've utilized Xavier Thomas in the backfield in all these sexy different types of formations. And that's a shot at Barian Brown making a nice catch right there during practice as well. This is a speedy, fast-burning LSU offense. Now, the question is, you've also got Caden Durham, a track star freak, as your star running back. Caleb Jackson looking rejuvenated. This is an offense that has a ton of skill position weapons. Is your offensive line going to be that third reliable piece? You lost 4 or 5 starters. We keep talking about this every time because we have to until we see what this is going to be. Josh Thompson, is he going to be your right tackle? Is it going to be Weston Davis? Is Tyree Adams really that left tackle, cover your blind side? He's legit. We've seen him hold his end in so many reps this spring. Really just a wall of China so far this spring. Weston Davis and Tyree Adams both looking really good. Starting tight end, starting bookend tackles. That's a remainder to be seen. But Josh Thompson, Braylon Moore, you've got to love what those two are bringing. And we absolutely needed these two. We needed more than just these two guys, really, on the offensive line. But you're going to see just how good these high-ranking guys like Cohen Eccles really are for LSU. DJ Chester, Paul Mubenga, are they really going to take that next step? DJ Chester, man, he's not letting go of that center spot just yet, and he hasn't looked bad at all throughout spring. Throughout the film that I've viewed, I've seen one bad snap, and Nuss juggled it but got it. Offensive line, man. I mean, that's where I am like so glued on of who's going to start. Defensive line as well. Let's get into some of these comments. Cole Adams says, "Well, glad to hear they're at least live tackling in spring practice. I hope they're doing big cat drills so we can get physical at the point of attack." I mean, big cat drills are a little outdated, but I'm sure some type of form of that is still used. Paul Tarver says, "With history as a guide, year 2 of the Nuss Bus has explosive upside. Bullish on the Tigers." Hell yeah, Paul. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Always love interacting with you on Twitter. Always love to see you've got this weird like photo of you. Almost look like you're at the stock market or something. I love that profile photo. With history as our guide, year 2 of the Nuss Bus has explosive upside. Bullish on the Tiger. I like that. Nuss, he put up outrageous numbers in a year without a reliable receiving core, without a completely anonymous running game at times. And I know the numbers are pretty low with his sacks. I think he got sacked like 25 times last year. But he lacked a lot. He did not have a lot of help. A lot of it was completely and purely on Garrett Nussmeier's shoulders to deliver LSU from evil every single week. And he got pummeled. Every time he got hit, it was like a free shot. And you'd see him limping around and stuff. So, I mean, it was not pretty. Only sacked 16 times in 2024. That's how damn good our pass blocking is. That's how damn good our pass blocking, I should say. That's how damn good our pass blocking was last year. Only sacked 16 times. It felt like a shit ton more. Because, I mean, I remember even Nichols, he's getting almost knocked out of that game. He's hobbling. He's getting a shot down low in the knee area. It was a frequent thing at certain times, certain points of the season. The 12 turnovers, I mean, the 12 interceptions, and then I think he had 3 fumbles that he lost as well. That has to be cleaned up. That cost us big in games. Of course, Alabama game, as we know. Texas A&M game, as we know. He didn't turn the ball over against Florida. Oh, he was stripped against Florida. So he did turn over the ball once against Florida. But in all those games, LSU lost because of turnovers, poor play on all sides of the ball, and it just seems when the quarterback goes a certain way, so does his team. And so if we give Garrett Nussmeier the help he needed all of last year, running the football, the help he deserved and needed in the play calling aspects of things, where like, okay, if our offensive line are struggling at pass blocking, they don't have the chemistry to pass block, they have the chemistry maybe to run block and do all these counter plays with Alex Atkins running the show, and they've really got a good synergy with that, but they just can't figure out the pass blocking concepts. Just say, for example, or maybe they just cannot handle their 1v1 matchups and they just get beat. Whatever it is, maybe there's not a good pass blocking unit. Whatever it is, we don't even know who our 5 starting offensive lineman will be. Just for example, just hypothetical. that's when you hope your play caller is like, okay, we're going to get the ball out of his hands very quickly. We're not going to have long developing plays. We're going to speed this offense up. And you saw a lot of like things that went against that type of, common sense thinking for Joe Sloan last year. And I think the pressure of the job was a lot. It is a lot. And I don't, I had a rare experience that I don't think I don't think a lot of LSU people, a lot of LSU media would have. I had a weird experience where I was in the press box for LSU versus USC. Okay, and right after the game, we're literally going towards the elevator for the press conference. Joe Sloan and the guys in the booth come right out right then. And so I'm literally seeing their reaction to a game where the offense and the offensive play calling was going to get it all week, and you just knew it, right? And yet Joe Sloan looked really pissed that he had lost the game, but he had such composure that I saw him go into the elevator and have to ride down with people like me in the elevator. And actually he kept his chill, his composure, and was like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And stuff. Takes a photo with us. Let's see if we can get this to share. Yeah, it was a very cool guy, but at the same time, you want LSU to be successful. You want LSU to win games. And I feel like Joe Sloan has. I guess the point from saying all of this is to say that in the worst game, it should have been the worst night of his career, all this type of stuff. He did not get ahead of himself. He did not get like, ooh, whoa, like, and freaked out. He kept his calm and his cool and his chill demeanor throughout that vibe, and that I saw him right out of the booth. I saw him, kind of in the back room areas. We saw Corey Raymond, a few other coaches. We saw them as they're going to the bus. And Joe Sloan was so good to us. And so I really do think, not just out of like personal, like, oh, Joe Sloan was good to us, so I gotta say this. We questioned Joe Sloan all last year. We went hard at Joe Sloan all last year. We also gave him credit when credit was due. Okay. And I think Joe Sloan is the right man for this job. There's been continuity there. There's been time there. There's been consistency there with him as the man for the job. This is it for Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. And this is the guy who's been there for 4 years with him, alongside him in the quarterback room, running the show. The play calling has got to be a lot better. You can't put it all on Nussmeier's shoulders. And at the same time, you want to give him that responsibility too, but you don't want to, suffocate him with it. Endless attempts, records amounts of attempts. You don't want that. And that's why Nussmeier threw 12 interceptions last year. And it's crazy he only threw 12. And it speaks to his improvement that he only threw 12. And I have a lot of good faith and a lot of good feeling with Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton running the offense, and then Blake Baker over there on the defensive side. I think LSU did a damn good job with this staff and hiring this staff. The thing is, you've got to hit the home run with the personnel, give them the pieces to succeed. This offseason, they more than did that, expanding the option pool with 16 transfers coming in, and a whole slew of freshmen too. Cole Adams says, I hope Gilbert's shoulder gets rehab. Spears' experience makes him react. That's Deshaun Spears he's talking about. He's talking about the safety room. And Javian Tobiano finds his true position, and our safety issues are behind us. Well, Tobiano has been practicing at safety all spring, alongside in the first team, mostly. It's been him alongside Tamarcus Cooley in the first team. And then when Tamarcus Cooley was out, seemed like it was Spears and Tobiano. So, the safety room, man, it's a difficult room for me to look at, because if everyone stays healthy and plays to their optimum, you've got Tamarcus Cooley, the number 2 ranked transfer safety in the entire country, and he put up the numbers. He was productive. He made big plays in big games against great opponents for NC State last year. He more than proved his worth, and LSU getting him is a big-time get, especially since he, I believe, has multiple years of eligibility. However, Javian Toviano, also someone who used to start at corner the last few games as a freshman, who's been put around at nickel and other places. Safety is the position that Kerry Cooks, former LSU safety coach, told LSU Odyssey that I wanted him to be there the entire time. I wanted him to be there the entire time. I didn't want him to be at corner, but we had to put him at corner out of necessity. So it makes sense. It makes sense to me that safety is a position that people would feel secure about because of a few additions there, a few guys playing better. But we saw Deshaun Spears whiff starting at safety against USC week 1 on that big play where he had to make that tackle, keep that guy out of the end zone, and that was not possible, 1v1. You've got Toviano, who's a great tackler, 1v1, out in space. You've got Jordan Gilbert, who played hurt all last year. We really don't know what he can fully bring to LSU. It's a position I'm worried about, and I told you guys this last show. I'm still worried about safety because we're one injury away from the whole room being tilted on its axis. Seriously, just one injury, you lose to Marcus Cooley, and then what? You're starting Deshaun Spears, and that's why I wanted to say, who's going to start at LSU this season? Who knows? And why is that a big question mark for me and all this stuff? Because LSU, we've got some great additions, but those additions have to turn out. Those additions have to work right. All of these things have to fall into place, and then you've got to deliver on the field. There's so many variables for success. And Javian Tobiano, trying to be a wizard with this thing, but I couldn't get it quite right this time. Javian Tobiano, man, I want him, if he can stay fully healthy. If Tobiano can stay fully healthy at the safety position, him and you're looking at him playing off of Tomarcus Cooley, who's got a really strong, versatile. They both are very versatile safeties. They're both very strong tackling, ball playing, can play almost every position at the back. They're that good. So what is LSU going to do with the safety position? That's interesting to me because you've got great length in Deshaun Spears, but is he going to be a legitimate contributing force? Jalen Toviano, are we going to stick with the experiment of finally getting him back at safety, or are we going to be like, someone got hurt, we got to move him to corner now, or someone doesn't play well at nickel, we got to move him to nickel? Fine, have him come down in the from safety and play nickel anyway. That's okay. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But he has got to have a chance to find a home positionally, or he's never gonna look at Sage Ryan. I know people want to give him a lot of shit, but the kid really played so many different positions for the team, for the program, because of there's injuries here. We need you at corner. Now we need you at nickel. Now we need you at safety. He really should have been a safety the entire time. You actually saw him make some sick plays this year at safety. So, it's funny that people are going after him with the comments he made recently. But you know what? It's all good. He knew people were going to do that anyway. But the point is playing someone so many different positions, maybe you don't really find out who they're actually are as a football player because you're playing them so many different damn places. And so you want to have Toviano just stick to being a safety because he looks good there. We need a strong tackler there. Someone with speed, someone who can read the game, someone who can, really have that good tracking speed where you're not gonna beat him 1v1 every time without him getting a piece of you. That's the thing with LSU. You've seen so much of this in the last few years. It's been so disgraceful where LSU's safety tackling has been so pitiful and so poor where they're not even getting a piece of the guy, just getting completely burnt out of their socks. And that has to stop. And LSU have they have the guys to make it stop. When you're talking about Jordan Gilbert, who was starting for Texas A&M, was awesome for Texas A&M. Really played well. Came to LSU all in all okay, but playing hurt and doing okay. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good considering what he was dealing with and the circumstances and how many times he had a different partner at the safety position. Things were looking okay when it was Jordan Allen and Sage Ryan trading off early in the season. Those two were playing well there. But when it came to the big games, we just did not have the guys up front, defensive tackle wise, to really do it. Let's see here. Gilbert, 615 snaps last year. And he played 710 snaps for Texas A&M in 2022. 123 snaps for them in 2021, and then 75 in 2023 when he got hurt. So injury prone as well now. An injury prone guy, even though he played a ton for us last year, hurt. And you've seen him held out of spring, injury prone. Jordan Gilbert, fantastic option, and at his ultimate could be a starter. Could be a starter for LSU. Hey, Seiji. Could be a starter for LSU once again for this season. But Tamarcus Cooley and then either Deshaun Spears or Javian Tobiano, the other one. I mean, these options seem okay on paper. You seem okay. We have to see these guys in 1v1 situations in the heat of battle, like against Clemson. I'm sorry. That's where we're going to find out a lot of the answers to these questions. We just have to be willing to utilize the expansive depth that we have on this roster and be willing to either stick to our guns, stick with certain guys, and get rid of the right guys and get the best guys out there if you've made that mistake. And that is so difficult. That is so easy to legislate from home from the couch, but I mean there's some obvious ones though. Like not starting Whit Weeks for a few games in 2024. What are you doing? Took Harold Perkins getting hurt for Whit Weeks to start. Just think about that. That's pretty insane. But that's how crazy it can get in college football and how you can't see the woods from the trees sometimes. But Cole, I think the safety position is one that is huge for LSU this season. It is like defensive tackle and offensive line for me this year. You feel good about receiver. You feel good about quarterback. You feel good about Caden Durham, running back. You've got certain things where you're like, yeah, I feel great about linebacker. Safety is a position for me that is like, ooh, if we can get it together with these guys, this will be the best safety position since 2019 when we had a Thorpe Award winner playing on one ankle, Grant Delpit. Since he left, there's only been one good LSU safety, Jay Ward. Everyone else has been stinky poo. Cole Adams says if our O-line can really become a really good cohesive unit, our offense can be championship caliber with balance from our receivers and us. I think it could, we were talking about this last show, Cole. If you didn't see our last show, I highly recommend it. I think it's a shorter show. It's not like an hour or anything. It's just kind of a shorter show about how I felt DJ Pickett and LSU's juggernaut offense are like two key factors for this team winning a championship this year, competing for a championship this year. Because Pickett can shut down half of the field. If he's got that Stingley gene, which we think he does, he's going to be that transcendental player that's going to allow the defense to really make it happen. When you have a guy out there, out wide, who can shut down half the field, whether that's Mansour Delane or Pickett, because Mansour Delane can shut down his guy all game, all season, and really help out Pickett on the other side. Because, yeah, maybe he'll get more of the targets his way. He'll get burnt a few times. He'll have to figure it out on the fly. But then he'll also get the interceptions. He'll also make the plays. He'll get the trial by fire, skin on the hair of the dog type of vibe that you need to get to that elevated spot. And I think he is one of those players on the top of the pyramid for LSU this year as a freshman, DJ Pickett. But then we also said this offense could be an absolute juggernaut. You saw Nuss put up those numbers we just showed earlier in this show. First time starting quarterbacks at LSU had never thrown for more yards, completions, touchdowns, attempts. I mean, like every single category you could achieve as a quarterback, Nussmeier was delivering on that. Disgusting. And then you have these weapons. Berrien Brown, who's right there making that catch for LSU. You got Nick Anderson, who had a double-digit touchdown, 1,000-yard season in Oklahoma, although that was in the Big 12, not in the SEC. You have Chris Hilton Jr. going for these deep balls and just absolutely skewering teams. Just absolutely nuking teams. So, point is, LSU do have a chance. Like you said, Cole. LSU have more than a chance with all these weapons. Trades Green, automatic red zone type of target. Nussmeier, who can make every single throw. Alex Atkins, a former offensive coordinator. Taylor making the Taylor making the running game. You've got a former Broyles Award finalist uh, in Kevin Peoples managing your edge rushers. You have all these pieces to the puzzle, managing very specific segments of this team. And that is what you see in championship staffs, where every detail is does not go overlooked because there's a man for the job everywhere. Lance Guidry, former defensive coordinator for Miami, and a Louisiana guy back home in the state he's coached at for years, and he's loving already coaching the safety room, coaching the corner room. He's elevating the DBs on this roster already. So you've got guys, Alex Atkins, Lance Guidry, you've got these Kevin Peoples. You've got these random analysts or specialist coaches who are really going to make a big difference for this team this season. This footage is from WBRZ, filmed by the amazing by the amazing Michael Cobble. Last time we saw him, had a great chat with him. I thought he was a cool guy. I never really got to talk with him, but I don't think he liked us much. But I think we won him over the last time. I think we did. I think we won him over in Vegas. Did we win him over, Bob? He called me an asshole walking away? Oh, shit. Wow. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all. That's shocking to me. That's news to me, Bob. Crazy. But anyway, this filmed awesomely by WBRZ. Wish we would be able to be down there and see him and be able to say thank you for this amazing footage, because look at this rep here, guys. Look at this rep here. This is LSU football you want to see. Wow. Okay. Wow. I know some of you were watching this and just saw this. Look. Let me catch my breath. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Combat, baby. Violence, combat, intensity. Helmet off. That's Solomon Thomas right there, freshman whose helmet just went off. I was wondering who that was until his helmet went off, and I'm like, that's Solomon. And that's him going versus Carius Curran. Is that? Yep, 57 Carius Curran. So this is a big battle between two future guys in LSU's offensive line room, guys who could potentially be called upon this season. And we're talking about offensive line right now, right here, and whether this offense can be a juggernaut offense. You're going to need guys like in 2019 we had Ed Ingram, who came off the bench in a very intense game over in Texas and gave Joe Burrow just enough time to suck up into the pocket and make that throw on 3rd and 17 to Justin Jefferson and absolutely destroy. Absolutely destroy Texas and get that two touchdown lead. You need a swing man. You need that sixth man on the offensive line. And LSU look like they've got two good ones here. Very good ones. Carius Kern and then Solomon Thomas. Both staying inside, not getting too much of the jersey, not getting too crazy. And they're staying inside so much that you saw a little punch right there almost. Yep. He didn't mean to do that, but he got him in the chin. It looks, damn. If I'm Brad Davis, I kind of look at those two and kind of go, wait a minute, everybody. You see that shit? We don't want to like congratulate this stuff because everyone should be doing this every rep. But that's what we want. You know, like, let's go, bro. Let's go. That's what we want every rep. I know he plays for LSU. I know he's your brother. I know he's your teammate. You've got to give it everything you got in every play. Here's Mubenga versus 61. Who's 61? Is that Josh Thompson? No, 61 is Braylon Moore. Josh Thompson, 57, I think. No, 56. So this is Mubenga, 65 versus Braylon Moore. I love. Okay, Mubenga gets done a few times, even though he stays with him on the field. Right there, that move probably is going to get Mubenga either a holding call if there's a quarterback there, or, you know, Braylon Moore is going to get the sack there. I don't care what anyone says. He makes this move right here, and Mubenga's cooked, right? There. He's turned him. Now, unless he can defy physics and get in front of him from there, there's just no way. He's done. So Mubenga still has a lot of work to do. But I wasn't going into the season thinking Paul Mubenga would be a left tackle, right tackle for LSU. He's going to be a guard. He's going to stay at a guard position. So he'll be able to usually handle what's coming at him from that position. Still, if I'm an edge rushing coach and we're playing LSU and say Mubenga is the guy who's starting at guard, I'm like, you know what? Why are we going to test Tyree Adams? I want you stunting inside against their guard every freaking play. And we'll have our very aggressive DT, you know, he'll flash out wide and just come in and just basically just deliver the pain to that left tackle and just keep him occupied while you stunt inside and just absolutely work that offensive guard who would be Paul Mubenga. And we saw him get just destroyed last season. And you saw Brad Davis right there giving him some words there. And that's Braylon Moore. That's a center/guard who was turning Mubenga like that. That wasn't an edge rusher. It wasn't Patrick Payton. That's another layer to this. I mean, we're getting in it. You wanted to know what type of O-line we have, and thanks to WBRZ, we've got Ethan Callaway and this is Weston Davis right there, number 75, who are both helmets flying. That's Ethan Callaway. You can see his awesome hair, whose helmet went off long ago, but they're still going for it. Like, absolute battlers here. Wow. Once again, this is footage from WBRZ. Awesome, awesome footage. So, you know, the offensive line, bro, I'm just going to have to say it like this because there's so much more to be decided. So much more to be decided. And I'm just going to say it like this. The less they have to experiment, the better, because they'll be like, hey, we've settled on some guys, and this is kind of our core. You want them to settle on some guys. You don't want them just to be constantly experimenting. After the first week of fall camp, you want there to be a definitive 5. You do not want that any more time where they're experimenting. Really, after spring, you should know your starting offensive line. We are not in that position. And frankly, bro, we might not be in that position of knowing who our best 5 is until like week 3, which is an issue. Because you might have to lose a game to find that out. Someone might have to get really burnt in a game where we have to really feel the pain. Our quarterback, Nussmeier, gets lit up so that we would find out who's going to be those guys to solidify that offensive line. That's scary. That's not the position you want to be in, losing all these offensive linemen going into this season. And I know people will continue to harp on it. And then there's also the people who will just say, oh, we're going to be fine. Oh, we'll be fine. We'll retool the offensive line. We've got all these great names. We haven't seen them play, really. We saw some great flashes and a great preview of Tyree Adams. But it was against Baylor, a team that barely, their leading sacker had 3.5 sacks last season. So to say he had a pass rushing challenge would be putting it mildly. Tyree Adams has played well throughout spring, though. He's had some challenges where he's been beaten, but he's showed, his own against some really top edge rushing talents. So I think he's probably got that spot down. Weston Davis up in the air, man. And then you really, I think experience-wise, I think you have to rely on these 2 transfers. I think you got to play Josh Thompson, whether that's right tackle or right guard. We'll see. It's kind of like how good is the returner in that other spot, and the availability of them. Center, is it Chester or is it Braylon Moore? Or are you going to move Chester to guard, Braylon Moore to center? Or is it Braylon Moore to guard and Chester to center? That's really what I would be working on the most if I'm Brad Davis, is finding out these little combinations of guys that you're going to have to use at some point. It's not like we're not going to use DJ Chester this season. He's a guy who's got a year and a huge road game of experience under his belt. Braylon Moore, obviously you're going to be using him in some big capacity. Josh Thompson, Weston Davis, doesn't have a lot of experience, though, on the field, but he's talent-rich enough that you're going to be using him. Solomon Thomas, confident as hell, but unproven. Carius Kern, elite. Cohen Eccles, elite, but both unproven. So, man, offensive line, so many avenues to go down for that one. Paul Tarver says, Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowl rings doing exactly what your film study highlights. And what would that be? What would that be about Nuss? Sorry, man. We're talking about so much crap here. Talking about so much stuff here. Interesting. Look at this. You got some interesting fakes here. See, that's what I like that I'm seeing about this offense is there's a lot of deceptive play calling. There's a lot of fakes here, fakes there, getting your eyes going one way. A lot of counter runs where you got the offensive line basically pulling and going at every which way and then going back the other way. The running back makes that cut, puts his foot in the ground, and then bends his run, changes the angle completely the other direction, with a few guys pulling to lead that way. It looks like there is that type of misdirection offense that we're seeing right here. But you know what? We've seen so many of these storylines throughout so many off seasons over the last few years where things look really good with offensive coordinator Jake Peets, look really promising. Oh, the misdirection offense. Oh, the double trickery, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the double, triple giant formation setup of blah, 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 blah. And then when it comes time to win games on the field, it's just not there. Joe Sloan has had enough practice. Joe Sloan has had enough weapons here. He's got enough resources that have been put into the offense being successful. Whether the offensive line is good or not, great or not, they're going to at least be good, I think. This offense has to deliver. They have the weapons to deliver. Quick striking offense, so be it. Cole Adams says, I want Trey Dez to become Calvin Johnson or at least Andrea Johnson. That's a bad typo. You mean Andre Johnson with his body type and speed? Yeah, man. I mean, literally, he is an automatic red zone target. He's an automatic red zone target. People can say whatever they want about Trey Dez Green. They can say whatever they want about, well, he's not really a tight end. How is he going to be blocking? Is he going to be too skinny to be doing it? Is he not going to be able to? You know what? You know what? All that matters. Throw the ball to him inside the red zone, just like that. Just pitch and catch in the red zone. Let him go up and get the football. That's it. That's it. Let him go up and get the football. You don't need him to go get a 60-yard bomb contested catch down the field, down the sideline. He could. He'll probably be able to do that. There's a dude wide open in the corner, too, on that play. That's how ridiculous that play call was. If this offense shows what they showed against Baylor, I mean, I know Baylor was kind of a team we could kind of bully whip this last game. Still, there were some tantalizing possibilities. We hadn't seen this offense with a deep threat all season. We hadn't seen this offense with a true red zone passing threat all season. There was a lot of injuries to this team that negatively hurt this team. Talking about Garrett Dellinger on the offensive line. Talking about, of course, on defense, Harold Perkins, Jacobian Guillory, Jordan Gilbert, as we didn't know, but come to find out, had the lanky shoulder screwed up for most of the season. And if you put all the ingredients into a barrel and kind of stir it up, what do you get? LSU looking like a fascinating jet-setting offense, juggernaut offense this season. Really, I mean, the possibilities are quite special because you looked at what Chris Hilton just did against Oklahoma and then against Baylor, and it felt like this could be automatic every time down the field. You saw what Trey Dez Green did in those final few games. Automatic red zone guy. Caden Durham. Aaron Anderson. And now you're adding a weapon like Berrien Brown. You're adding a weapon like Xavier Thomas being used in all these different ways. Nick Anderson. Donovan Green. Bauer Sharp. A good blocking tight end. You have some weapons here on offense that there's no way this offense will not score over 40 plus points in at least 8-9 games this season. If they didn't, it would be a tragedy. It would be unbelievable if this offense did not score at least 40 plus points in 8 or 9 games this season. Now that also kind of hints at a lot of success. But seriously, this offense has the quarterback, has at least the bodies there to be an average offensive line at the worst, really. You just have to find who you can rely on. You've got a supernatural potential running back, Caden Durham, who is a dual threat running back as well. You're loaded at tight end. And then you have once again you have the quarterback who can make all the throws. Cole Adams says, I hope Joe Sloan is better in his second year. I did see improvement by him at the end of the year. Yes, you did. Everybody could see it. I mean, he was calling some beautiful plays. And even in the last loss against Florida, really we lost that game because of turnovers and just poor execution. He actually called a good game for a lot of the Florida game. Cole Adams says Nuss needs to take off and run every time his receivers are covered against Clemson to send a message to SEC DCs. Absolutely. And I think what sucked about him not also doing that was it showed everybody that we knew if we lost Nuss, we kind of felt like we were screwed. And so we would rather have lost a game here or there than like let Nuss get hurt. Because as long as we had Nuss, we had a chance. But if he goes down, we're screwed. So protect him at all costs. That literally makes a defensive line, a bunch of edge rushers, an entire defense, a defensive coordinator. It makes them lick their chops. Like, we've got these bastards right where we want them. They're literally like cuckolds sitting in the corner of the apartment room in the cuckold chair, you know, the glazed, misty eyes of a man who's been emasculated. That's what they want. And we cannot give that satisfaction to them. We have to show that Nuss can take this space and make these 5-6 yard runs and absolutely hurt these defenses. Because you have a quarterback then that can scramble and at least take advantage of a gap of that nature and get a first down here, a first down there. Somebody's got to account for it. Somebody's got to have a last second responsibility. Hey, linebacker, your responsibility is to watch the running back out of the flat on the third down. But if that running back stays home, or if the running back gets the ball faked to him and he doesn't do a route, he just starts blocking. Now your responsibility is when the play breaks down to be watching for that quarterback to run into that space, and it's up to you to make that one-on-one tackle and to be there. That takes away a defender from somewhere else. And when you do that, you can then screw teams and absolutely cut a team apart defensively. LSU as an offense didn't move the defenses, the opposition defenses around enough last year. We didn't get them moving enough. We didn't get them working hard enough. We didn't make them tired enough. We didn't wear down any opposition. We didn't bend any opposition to their will, even while putting up crazy record number yards and all this crazy stuff. You didn't see the points being registered. You didn't see the wins being registered. This was an offense last year that should have been explosive as hell. And that's the thing, is they put up a lot of numbers, but you didn't feel like that was an explosive offense at all. That's the last word you would probably use to describe that offense until the end of the season. Paul Tarver says we have more depth and experience at corner and safety this year. Maybe, but it's by like a couple guys. I don't think we have more depth at safety this year. I think we actually lost more guys in the portal this year. But I think we've upgraded at that position by bringing in Marcus Cooley and moving Toviano there. But you didn't really get anything else except for Marcus Cooley there. You didn't really like upgrade anymore or get anybody more. So it's almost in the same position it's at. You're just hoping these guys are going to find a way and you're going to find the right tandem, because you only have so many options. Spears, Toviano, Cooley, Jordan Gilbert. Who are we missing? Who are we forgetting? Because that is so thin. That is so thin. Is it really just 4 guys? We've got to be forgetting someone at safety. But really, it's if we are forgetting somebody, it's like, yeah, we're forgetting a couple people, but it's still really shockingly thin. Cole Adams says, Lon, before fall, would like for you to get Zach Nagy on and you go over each position. I feel like you know your shit about this team. I feel like you two know your shit about this team. Thank you, brother. I like Zach. I should reach out to him. He goes on a lot of different shows. He's very in demand. So I've never really thought about that. Yeah, maybe I should. I like Zach. He's a good dude. He was really cool to me when I met him last spring. I believe it was. Paul Tarver says, Cole, agree, Lon and Zach together. Good stuff. You guys are. So Zach Nagy is. Who does he write for? Sports? Yeah, he writes for Sports Illustrated. He's always given us credit for breaking news we've done and stuff like that. Like, the dude's. I like the dude a lot. I haven't heard too much of his analysis, I will be honest. Um, Frankly, I'm spending so much time doing our own stuff. Um, but yeah, I could definitely get him on the show. We're trying to get on a lot of different people. Some people are busy. Some people are just don't want to come on our show. Some people don't want to be associated with us. But others absolutely have no problem and want to come on the show and talk. And some of the names will blow your mind. Some interviews that are taking a bit, and I think once you see one of these people, you'll be like, that's why that interview took a bit to be negotiated and figured out, because that subject, the person is quite a difficult person. Like, right or wrong, love them to death as an LSU national championship winning legend that they are. The dude's difficult, and the dude's lived quite a life, is what we'll say. One of my favorite LSU Tigers, an absolute beast of a player in his time, um, at the NFL level as well. But hopefully we can get that interview in, because there's so many things we want to do, so many different ideas that we put into motion, and as one person we can only get so much done. But we try to do everything we can. We try to give you guys the best content that you guys would want. And I think over the years, maybe we haven't done as well as like On Three or 247 or a place like that, where they've got so many different hands in the box to make things look better. They got so many producers behind the scenes to make things look better, all that stuff. Um, I think we've done pretty damn good getting the guests that we have, and getting some of the names that we have been able to get on this show. And really, we haven't even really tried that hard with getting guests on the show. We should be trying way harder to get guests on the show. If you guys want to see us like having guests a lot more often, if that's what you guys would like, we can do that every show. Um, we can definitely do that every show. It's really down to the audience and what you guys think you want to see, and what I believe in is the right direction for the show. What I think you guys would like, but also what I think I would enjoy doing, and putting my time into working behind. Because I mean, if I didn't enjoy covering LSU, if I didn't think this could be a career that I would love every second of, and love the work of, love the grind of, feel rewarded by the grind, then I'd be doing something else, honestly. Like, honest to God, I wouldn't just like go through the motions of just, oh, this is what people expect of me now, LSU guy. I got to keep doing this. Like, I do it because there's no, I mean, like, I can't really see myself not doing it at this point, really. I have so many interests. I love rock and roll history. I love, just ancient history. I love all sorts of musical instruments and delving into guitar pedals and some of the greatest albums of our time and all this crazy stuff when you're talking about ancient aliens and the CIA killing Kennedy and all LBJ maybe even killing Kennedy and some of the political history, some of the stuff that might overwhelm some people and offend some people. I love to really dig into all that and see what's real, what's false, what's bullshit, what's true, and get to the bottom of it all. And so all of that stuff interests me. And believe me, if we had the time, if we had a little bit more help with certain things, we could actually cover all of that. We could launch multiple podcasts and cover everything. But for now, one man, one mission. I love LSU Odyssey, and I love what we have grown over the last few years because it's not about what we're doing. It's about how you guys see it, and it's about what you guys interpret it as, and it's what you guys see it as. And the market has decided that for some weird reason, for some reason I cannot understand for the life of me, and it's probably a few reasons that make some people kind of angry or don't like us because of this. But for some reason, the market in Louisiana has decided that they want a 30 something year old white Utah born, Utah located LSU fan to cover, who had to earn press credentials just off the merits of our own work, not our name or anything, just the actual work that we've done, the actual person that we are, all that stuff. It had to stand on its own 2 feet for us to get credentials. And the fact that that happened, the fact that the market has spoken and you guys have stayed with us this long, and it seems like the support only continues to build, even when it's in the middle of football. I mean, in the middle of baseball and women's basketball season just barely ended. It's humbling. It's incredible, and it's why I love doing the LSU Odyssey stuff, is because I always want to know. I wonder what Louis Corona is going to think about this. I really want to know what Cole Adams is going to think about this, because I have a hot take, and it's going to be a hot take, and I didn't mean for it to be, but I know it's going to be one. Here it is, baby. That type of stuff is, I love the details of this thing. I love it, baby. Hopefully we can get down there as soon as possible, cover this the right way. I mean, that's what's insane, is that we actually cover this from Utah. How does that even work? I don't even know how that works, really. A lot of phone calls to say that. Cole Adams, Joel Rogers. Yes, Joel Rogers is that name, man. Joel Rogers he's been getting a lot of playing time in spring too. Damn. That was a name I forgot. Joel Rogers. I love his high school tape. I love Joel Rogers' high school tape, brother. Oh my God, Paul. Man, okay. Year in, year out, no matter how bad LSU had been, like 2020, 2021, you had some ghastly years. Last year, you only won 8 games. But here's the thing. Year upon year upon year, I'm someone who literally studies these teams, these rosters inside and out. It is my job to know who each guy, whatever number, and what they look like, who they are. It is my job. I take that very seriously to know who every one of these guys are, And even I will forget some of these guys. That is how many noteworthy players are on the roster this year and have been for the last few years, really. Like LSU have always brought in top tier squads that should make LSU a championship contending program year upon year upon year. And this squad is no different. In fact, Joel Rogers, it's bringing a smile to my face because that's a dude that LSU, that's a dude that can make LSU better. We've seen him already in kicking ass in spring, stepping in when Tamarcus Cooley went out for a week, and really kicking some ass, really playing some damn good football. Cole Adams says, I love Ancient Aliens too. I just don't know why they didn't mention that the earth wasn't flat. Oh, Cole. King Cole Adams. So, you look at we're going to answer the final question here for LSU. Who's going to start in 2025 for LSU? And while we've been asking that question all this show, really, even though we've gotten into different subjects and we've kind of gone off on different tangents, we've always kind of come back to the main thing of who's going to start for this team. Who's going to start for this team in 2025? Obviously, Gary Nussmeier at quarterback. You've got a great option in backup quarterback at Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson, quarterback for the future at LSU, in my opinion. Awesome dual threat quarterback. Elated that he's moved to the quarterback position. But who else will start? Caden Durham, of course, at running back. Left tackle, Tyree Adams will be your left tackle week 1 versus Clemson. Left guard, man, that's a difficult one. Left guard, oh, man. Left guard, I'm going to say, is going to be Braylon Moore. Center, I'm going to say DJ Chester. I think Chester will hold on to that job going into week 1. This is just preliminary. This is just right now. Right guard, I think you're going to have Josh Thompson at right guard. He'll beat out Bo Wardlawn and a few other guys for that spot. Right tackle, Weston Davis. I think he will prove to be the right option there. And, you could even swap Thompson, right tackle, Weston Davis, move out, and then put Bordelon at right guard. You could do that. You can move Thompson out to the right tackle, and that could work. It's all about finding which offensive line combinations will work against the right matchups. But really, if you're going to do that, that's crazy, because you want to be able to have 5 guys you can hang your hat on and rely upon to go block and win a game for LSU. But you have so many different talented profiles of offensive linemen. It might be you guys are going to play against this team and you guys are going to play against that team type of situation, where 3 of the 5 guys are different game to game. I could literally see that this year, where the center and maybe the left tackle don't change, but everything else does. I could literally see that this season. Whether they would want to do that or do that out of necessity, that's probably more out of necessity than anything. It's hard to see that happen where you're retooling your offensive line based on matchups. You're going to be better with this matchup, better with this match. That means you would have to have 12 guys you could really, at least 8 guys you could really hang your hat on that can play major snaps for LSU. That's just not happening. That's just not happening. And then I think at receiver, you've got Aaron Anderson, of course, in the slot. Barian Brown out wide at one spot. Chris Hilton Jr. out wide at another. Tight end, Trey'Dez Green. All right. That's your offense right there. Tyree Adams, Braylon Moore, DJ Chester, Josh Thompson, Weston Davis, offensive line. Trey'Dez Green, tight end. Caden Durham, running back. Quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. Receivers, Barian Brown, Aaron Anderson, and Chris Hilton Jr. All right. Defense. And this is predicated on guys coming back healthy. This is a big deal that I was not wanting to get into too much because we've talked about this a lot. But really, you just have to mention it every time because it is so big. How Whit Weeks, someone who probably could win the butt kiss this year, Whit Weeks. Such a damn good player, Whit Weeks. How Whit Weeks, how Harold Perkins, how Jacoby and Guillory come back, that's going to define this defense's season. Because if this defense can have a full go Whit Weeks from last year, mixed with Harold Perkins at his ultimate best, Jacoby and Guillory playing his ultimate best, with Ahmad Bro, Dominic McKinley having a full year last year to get some snaps and get some experience, and they damn well did. And then you have these certain additions. Man, Patrick Payton, double-digit sack man. Jameer Butler, Gabe Relaford, going into year 2. Man, oh man, this could be a defense that could be top 25. We talked to Davon Keys, the starting linebacker for LSU, his father, Scott, just this last week on the show. Anyone did not watch that interview, I think if you didn't watch that interview, you missed a very good one with a lot of information in that show that maybe we haven't done a good enough job of sharing that information. But in that interview, he said LSU is going to have a top 10 defense this year. He had so much faith in what he was seeing and the type of defensive intensity and visceral physicality he was seeing, he was witnessing. And Blake Baker's teaching, Kevin Peoples up front, Corey Raymond, it's all coming together. And the transfers you added on the defensive side, you gotta love it top to bottom. It's even if these guys don't hit, likely the effect of their arrival, their presence will have improved guys like Ashton Stamps, guys like Davon Keys, guys like Gabe Relaford, guys like Ahmad Bro or Don McKinley, guys who do not want transfers or guys, maybe coming back from injury to take their spot. So it's going to raise collectively everybody's levels, you would think, theoretically. And this season more than any, I feel like this team have a swagger, but they also have like a business-like intensity where it's like full go, bro. Like we're ready to win a championship. And if you're in our way, and that means if you're in this locker room and you're in our way, then we're rolling you over. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from this team. And it's something that we haven't seen at LSU for a while, where there is such malevolent intensity from the team. And I love it. Paul Turner Tarver says Michael Turner Jr. Oh, yeah, Michael Turner Jr. I thought he was a corner, so I didn't mention him. But they moved him to safety as well. He had 2 interceptions in spring practices so far. 2 picks. One of them was a sick play where he stuck his hand in there against Chris Hilton Jr., batted the ball, flipped it up all the way up in the air, and then it came down and he picked it off. It was a beautiful play by Michael Turner Jr. He was another awesome high school kid who's now kind of trying to find his place, but I think he's an excellent talent, Michael Turner Jr. It's just about his size, his weight, and getting that up, because his weight at 170, you can't start SEC in the secondary weighing 170. I'm sorry, you gotta bulk up, man. Cole Adams says, Lon, you may be in Utah, but you keep me up to date on LSU, and I'm in the hill country in Texas, so I appreciate you. Man, you're in the hill country in Texas? Where are you at? What town, what city? That's so cool. That's absolutely okay. You make me feel like I have a duty now. Like I need to get this more intense, because King Cole, do you read our articles on the site? Because I feel like there's people who don't read the articles and don't see all of the coverage we do. I feel like they, which might include you, only see the videos that we do. And which is fine. We'll make more videos if that's the case. But the articles are packed with information. We try and make them absolutely just jam-packed with this stuff you want to know. So hearing this makes me filled with even more duty, King Cole. So thank you for saying that to me, my man. Cole Adams says, I go back and watch all of your stuff. I understand that. I'm just meaning, like there's articles, like on LSUODYSSEY.COM, this site that I've got right here. See this site right here? You go here. I'm right on the site right now on the screen. We'll make that screen bigger. It's opening right now. There's that Joe Burrow gif in the background with him walking, smoking a cigar. See, okay, this is all the content list for the site. You know, this is last few streams, daily newsletter. There's Joe the cigar with Michael Bonnet behind him. You basically got all these profiles on players. We wrote this about Javion Tobiano just a bit ago. There's a bunch of stuff written, filmed, everything. So whether you like reading things, whether you like watching things, we'll try and deliver as much of all of it as we can. But I just wanted to show you this if you weren't aware that there's also this whole other world. There's a Saban ad on my website right there. Wow. Yeah, right there. There's all this stuff about Tobiano right there, just to show you, like, just an example of the articles and stuff that we do. Not written by AI, none of that bullshit. This is all written by me. We've been doing this all ourselves from the beginning. And I would love to have a team of people if I could afford to pay some people. It's not like something with my ego where I must do it all myself. You know, like I would love to have a group or a team or something like that, you know. But anyway, everybody, seriously, thank you so much for watching. From like the bottom of my freaking heart. My freaking heart. Thank you so much for watching on this lovely spring Sunday. I hope the weather has actually been good for you. It's been freezing like crazy here for the last little while. It's been cold, it's been snowy, it's been really weird. And now today it's been extremely nice outside. I love how yesterday we take Sage to the park and we do all this stuff outside. And today we've mostly just kind of sat inside. We took him on a few bike rides and things like that. Chelsea's with him at the store right now. But for the most part, we just kind of sat inside. It's been so much better of a day weather-wise, so kind of weird with that. But everybody, seriously means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, the comments, all the subscribing you guys do. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, I rarely ask. Every show that you watch, you hear them ask to be subscribed and to be liked and all that stuff. First thing, instantly, right out of the gate, you do it. You gotta press the button. We rarely, if ever, ask that of you guys. So because we don't bother you with that, because we don't annoy you with that, hit you over the head with it, how about you help us by hitting it, pushing the thing? Thank you all. You guys really you guys are really top tier Tiger fans who keep me on my toes and make sure that we're delivering the best rate of content, information, and the whole package to you guys. And we're gonna keep going and keep striving, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going. I feel a good vibe in the force. King Cole says Canyon Lake, Texas. It's beautiful, but I miss Louisiana food. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Seriously, if you've gone to Louisiana once and you have had the food, you absolutely want to go back. Absolutely want to go back. Oh yes, wait. We got so caught up in another question or something. I don't think we answered our defensive starters. You got Jacobian Guillory if he's fully healthy, and then Ahmad Bro splitting snaps with Dominic McKinley at the other defensive tackle spot. Potentially Sidear Mitchell in here. We still, all this stuff has to still be answered. So this is kind of just me spitballing. And then at one edge spot, you got Gabe Relaford. The other edge spot, you've got Patrick Payton. Okay. At linebacker, Whit Weeks, Davon Keys. At star, Harold Perkins. Safety, Tamarcus Cooley. Other safety, Javian Toviano. One corner spot, you've got DJ Pickett. The other corner spot, you've got Mansour Delane. That's what I would do right now. And that is from a preliminary kind of spot. So still so much to decide. Still so much to be figured out until we even get to that place. But Cole, it's literally at this website, LSUODYSSEY.com. We put it on the thing every time. LSUOdyssey.com, baby. Everybody, have an amazing rest of your Sunday. It's been crazy. We're gonna have Houston hopefully beating Florida in this national title game. That was an incredible comeback against Duke. I loved seeing that because I hate Duke. It was so great to see that. So beautiful for Kelvin Sampson finally get to a championship game as well. I'm a big Kelvin Sampson fan, so I love seeing that for Coach Sampson. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. We'll be talking very soon. Maybe sooner than you think, because something is kind of whistling in the wind a bit. Something's kind of shaking in the bushes.